And I laugh now because they're funny to me now. They're so ridiculous. But growing up, I just knew, I'm like, something is off here. Everyone in my family, there's me, my sister, my parents, we're all just very stressed out, high-strung individuals. Dad's gonna freak out about this and this. I know if I do this and this, he won't be upset. And therein lies why I'm so good at user experience design, because it's all about anticipatory design, anticipating other people's needs. If they're going to come onto this page for the first time, what information do they need to know? Do they know where they are? Do they know what they're going to click on? And my parents were my favorite test subjects. They couldn't really see me or really hear what I had to say, but if I designed things in a certain way, they would behave in a way that I could completely predict every time.
Well, I love the San Gabriel Valley.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast.
So I grew up here and I still live in Alhambra.
I was raised in between Temple City and Alhambra.
Eventually resided in South San Gabriel.
Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley.
Monterey Park has pretty much been my whole life.
Well, I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in the San Gabriel Valley.
We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you are from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome. All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We do appreciate it. Oh, Stefanie, you're the only guest who asked if it's okay to cuss on the show. I was like, oh, wow. What does that mean?
It's a degree of how real I can keep it with you.
Oh, okay.
So I'm happy I have the permission to do so.
So there's discount for advance notice of the fine. So we'll only do like $50 per cuss word. No, but people have cussed on the show before. Yeah, I think in our family, the girls have like used bad words. And then my wife always says, oh, strong words for strong situations, right? So we don't get mad at them for using it like they hear or whatever, but like, yeah, if it's appropriate to say this, then you say that.
That's pretty much exactly why I asked. Sometimes you need it.
Sure. And it does the job, right? Where like, oh, that made me so upset. This doesn't hit home.
Yep.
So that gives the listener no clue as to what you were going to talk about, but I thought it was going to be interesting to share that. So before we get into your story, thank you to Paris Baguette for sponsoring the delicious pastries every week for our guests. Go check them out in the city of San Gabriel, Las Tunas, and I think Mission, and say hi to Jason and the crew for us. Imagine navigating the intricate world of user experience design, not just by crafting interfaces, but by architecting comprehensive systems that drive organizational evolution. With over 2 decades of experience, this design strategist has collaborated with industry giants like Google, PayPal, and Warner Music Group, developing products that have reached millions. Her passion lies in decoding complex challenges, reorganizing information, and optimizing workflows to produce smart, simple solutions. Beyond product design, she focuses on structuring design making and fostering alignment at an organizational scale. Please welcome full systems design architect and operational strategist, Stefanie Wong. Stefanie, welcome to the show.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Badass introductions.
Like I can read from it because the camera's going to be on you the whole time. So like you get the reaction of you hearing about yourself.
I mean, I wrote that, but that's like really the happy path. There's a lot of unglamorous stuff to it, but that's always the goal. There's
so many descriptors there, like of what you do. And, I just learned recently through the experience of like what you do from the event that we had this past March. And I was so blown away. Like, this is how I describe it. I never knew this level of like creativity existed until like I experienced it from you. And for all those who may not know what I'm talking about, the March 15th event, not just the graphics, right? Because it's more than just the graphics that you saw, but the graphics tied everything together to this game, or you described it as a gamification. Mm-hmm. And that was all your design. That was all your thought. So thank you so much for that. Sorry, I'm talking now. I was so excited to say, about what that is, but I want to get into what it is that you do and what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with what's your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
Yeah. I was born in Canada. My parents had a business opportunity when I was 5. So moved out here to Monterey Park in 1987. So shortly before a giant earthquake. I forget which, I think it was 87 earthquake. I don't remember.
The Whittier Narrows earthquake.
That sounds right. Yeah. That was my introduction to.
Like you
to Southern
experienced it?
California. Yeah, I remember being 5 years old, eating cereal downstairs, and things shaking. That was, and then and running outside too. That's because we didn't know what to do. We're from Canada.
Oh.
So that was very different.
Welcome to the U.S.
Right, yeah, and then now it's become normal that if it's not over 3.0, you don't get out of bed.
So you're Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
Your family moved here to Monterey Park, and did you come from? Where in Canada were you born?
Oh, Vancouver.
Okay, so there's a lot of Asians there.
Yep.
Well, actually, I don't know what it was like then.
I don't really. I was in an outskirts called Coquitlam, which is we were right next to a river. We could catch fish there. There were bear warnings. We came from it was a very different place. It was like a cul-de-sac. We knew the same neighbors. Like I got to know them really well. And then moving down to LA, it was never the same. It was like suddenly like everything's really big, really, really big.
So you were uprooted at 5 years old from, well, I don't know, like, how was that, leaving your home, your friends?
That's a really good question because I still remember that day. My mom and I were in the car. We drove back. We're arriving back home. She goes, "Steph, I have a surprise for you." And usually that means like a Connect the Dots book. I was all about those books. And I was like, "Oh, I gotta get my Connect the Dots books." I run upstairs. She was like, "Go upstairs. Go see your surprise." And I went to see my room, and it was empty except for a bed frame. And that's how I learned we were moving.
Oh no!
And that took a long time for me to get over. I didn't get it. And my parents, they kind of did that thinking that she's going to forget. She's little. It's okay. She's 5. She's going to totally forget about it. But that was a major uproot that affected me subconsciously for a long, long time. So feeling really like the world in Canada was really small. I knew it really well. And moving down here to Los Angeles, I didn't say Los Angeles, straight up San Gabriel Valley, I never felt grounded. It took a long, long time to get there. I was always very lost, very anxious, couldn't keep up with things, which is why I'm obsessed with mapping everything now and making sure I never get lost ever again and no one gets lost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of, and I'm kind of seeing if I can do that on a big scale too.
Wow. I asked that question because a lot of conversations that I've had with people who have had that experience, like, have a similar story from a young age. Like, it was a big thing to them. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you described never feeling grounded here. So what was it like when you were growing up in Monterey Park?
Oh my gosh. I mean, growing up was fine. Like people were fine here. Everyone here was there. Some form of Asian or Latino. It was I never felt out of place as like my identity, but never really feeling like I didn't know what to expect next. I always felt like the floor was going to drop underneath me. So I think once I had some stability going to my first kindergarten, that was Monterey Highlands, which I really liked. It was like kindergarten was fun there. And suddenly I had to go to Brightwood for first grade. And for whatever reason, that my body couldn't tolerate that. I was just like, I've been through so many things. I remember the first day of school, just like, you cannot leave me, Dad. And more or less from first grade until the end of 8th grade, it was just struggling to keep up. That's what it felt like. I was fine in school. I did fine with my grades, but I felt like I had to work really hard. And I never understood like, well, if we learn this, what does this have to do with this right now? I couldn't connect the dots. It was really difficult for me. But it was fine. Growing up in San Gabriel Valley was fine, but I often felt, a deep feeling of not understanding why I felt sad not understanding why. I'm like, why do I feel so much more anxious than everyone else? And I gravitated toward friends who are much more calm than me. My best friend Faye, we're still best friends to this day. Just talked to her yesterday. She's super, super chill. And she was a great anchor for me. She still is. So, I mean, I'm really being very surface level about the perpetual feeling of being lost and how it's led me to here now. But that's kind of it in a summary.
Yeah, it sounds like that first experience was really traumatic, and then you were uprooted again quite shortly after that.
Yeah, and I'd even say too that a big factor to why it was difficult to move on from that initial uprooting is that my family was so distracted. None of us knew we didn't even know we were grieving. We didn't know how to grieve. We didn't know that there was a concept to grieve. It was just like, we're in a new city. We're in a new country. We got to keep up. When we first moved here, we had to live with a friend's family. So it was just a lot of instability. It was just like, keep up, got to get grounded. And I don't think it was till decades later that my family realized, I don't think we really grieved the fact that we left you guys, and everyone loved it in Canada. And I think even to this day, like, my parents still had some regrets of like, did we make the right decision to move down here? And whenever they ask that, I'm like, don't bother. Why ask that? We're here. You guys did great. So it was a long lasting wait that my family held until I'd probably say COVID, when things got to be quiet for the first time and everyone got to catch up for the first time. And that's when I started catch up with my own life for the first time.
When you say catch up, do you mean like exploring what you actually went through and experienced and how that affected you?
Yeah, it was during lockdown, when, the world stopped for a moment in time. I loved it. I mean, it was horrible what was happening, but for someone like me, not being able to keep up with the rate of life, it was such a blessing. It felt like I could think for the first time. I wasn't missing out on anything. I could just sit here and just observe life for what it is, and observe my parents for who they were, and how they responded in a world that didn't demand anything from them either.
Not able to keep up with life.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I felt like I was always behind. Just felt perpetually behind.
Behind others?
Behind others. I worked at a lot of big companies and did well professionally, but I've always felt in the room, everyone else was speaking another language that I didn't know about. Everyone else knew something else that I didn't know. I'm like, how'd you guys know that this conversation had to go this way or the project had to go that way? I just would sit and wait until afterward and ask someone like, hey, what's going on? What are we doing? And someone would be kind enough to tell me, it sounds like because of what happened in this situation, we're going to pivot here, and this is what you can do now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I always had to depend on someone else to frame it for me. That was when I was just in reactionary mode, and reactionary is the best word I could use. Just trying to keep up.
Oh, okay. So at first I was like, is this, are you neurodivergent or is this a trauma response?
I think it could be both. When I started learning about neurodivergence, I was like, oh, okay, this sounds right. But then I've also been through a lot of crap, and a lot that I've been able to work through. So much that I can predict a lot of things that can happen ahead of time, and it's not because I'm a psychic, but it's because I've just seen it. I've just seen all forms of pain, all forms of my pain, other people's pain, feeling lost. And found again, what that feels like when someone can actually hold you and see you. Yeah.
When did you start exploring the neurodivergence?
I think when I finally heard about it from Instagram. I think it was during a time when therapy wasn't so much stigmatized anymore, and then a lot of labels started coming out. First, you start hearing about narcissism. Oh, what's narcissism? And then people start talking about ADHD, AU ADHD, neurodivergence. And I think by that time when I discovered that label, I was kind of beyond labels at that point because I just felt like people were just pathologizing everything. However, there are people who need that label, and it's a good way for them to feel a bridge and feel like they belong somewhere here when they see through things through that lens.
ASD is often pathologized, and from my own experience with people close to me, learning and discovering that it's actually like quite a strength, right? But the differences are viewed in the neurotypical world as
what's ASD?
Autism spectrum disorder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and neurodivergence, I think, like is also like a superpower almost. But you have to understand it like from that lens, and then other people have to see it also, right? This thing that is unfamiliar to me, unless I know it and understand it, then it's just like, oh, you have an issue or you have some sort of problem.
I wish that I had heard of this term when I was younger, because when I had discovered the term of neurodivergence, it's already after I'd more or less made like a master thesis on analyzing my parents and other people in my life. I just picked and chose all these labels. So at the time when I learned about neurodivergence, it was another label to me. And I forgot my train of thought. But if I knew,
you said you wish you heard this early on.
Yeah, it would have, give it a little bit of an anchor, other than just being, oh, nerd, anxious, socially awkward, that kind of thing. But if it's just like, oh, there's actually something neurologically different about what's going on with you, and you're not expected to keep up, that would have been a great relief to, growing up in the 90s. It's like there's like one of 5 ways you could be, and there wasn't any space for anything else. I mean, there's a lot more colors in the crayon box now, metaphorically, but I do wish that something like that was I was aware of it before.
That sounds to me like you had this awareness that you were different from quite a young age.
Yeah, I felt different, and people made sure to tell me I was different too. I mean, I think for the most part, I really blended into the back, but I felt like just big old dork. Everybody's into R&B. I'm the only one listening to K-rock. Like at that time, it was like, oh, you're listening to white man rock music. That's what people had said about me at the time. And now, like when I when I finally went to college and felt like real belonging, I was like, I am normal. So, yeah, I would also say like, so that's what it felt like in San Gabriel Valley when I grew up, and when I got out of it is when I got to see I'm not that weird. I'm not that. And I was kind of mad. I was kind of mad that there was a very specific way to behave. How I grew up, there was a bit of a bubble. Interests were very segmented. Career paths too, and then when I left it, I just felt when I left it for a little bit, I just went to the west side. It's not like I went really far. I got to meet other people, which was nice. And however, I don't think it's so much of a thing about San Gabriel Valley. I think it's a sign of the times growing up back then.
Sure.
I mean, like there's this thing how people and information have been democratized now is so different than the world that I grew up in prior to the internet, when there was just like very pre-described ways to live.
I distinctly remember like listening to Metallica and Nirvana, and and I dressed. I had like a flannel shirt. I wore shorts, and I had these like 10-hole Doc Martens, right? That I begged my mom for, and this was my look, right? And I remember in high school, that was like freshman year, I was immediately like aware that this was not how all my friends dressed, and I was like, oh shoot, I don't want to be the outlier,
I forget, did you grow up here, or where were you born?
I was born in San Dimas, but I moved to Monterey Park I think like when I was 1. So I basically grew up in Monterey Park. But I remember that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is not cool. This is cool for this crowd. And really, who cares, right? Like if I just like what you like, right? But I distinctly remember that. I like to unpack the things that make you who you are, right? And so I'm the obvious one is like you trying to map everything out, which you've sort of shared with us. And you mentioned that you're trying to analyze your parents.
Yeah. So another reason why I felt very lost growing up is my parents, bless their hearts, they're very chaotic people. Super chaotic, super anxious, super reactive. They have no like sense of continuity from like one day or maybe 1 hour to another. So them caring for me when they were in their early 40s, it was very like, oh my God, we need to cook dinner. I'll do this. It's this very like high anxiety environment.
Oh,
and
man.
they were a lot. I mean, I laugh now because they're funny to me now. They're so ridiculous. But growing up, I just knew I'm like something is off here. Like mom and dad are just like they're like this. They're like spinning teacups. That's what it felt like growing up. And everyone in my family, it was me, my sister, my parents, we're all just very stressed out, high strung individuals. So my sister and I, the only way that we can have some kind of grounding is just stare at my parents for a bit and track how they behave, track their patterns. I'm like, hey, do you ever notice like when mom is acting up, dad is okay? We're like, yeah. So we're just loved psychoanalyzing them. And it became first a coping mechanism, and then it became kind of a hobby. And then I realized, actually, this is pretty representative of other patterns of anxiety that I see in other people. Kind of like when I know what they need is pretty much why I was paying attention to my parents so much. We really wanted to please them. So, dad's going to freak out about this and this. I know if I do this and this, he won't be upset. And therein lies my very good intuitive way of why I'm so good at user experience design, because it's all about anticipatory design, anticipating other people's needs. If they're going to come onto this page for the first time, what information do they need to know? Do they know where they are? Do they know what they're going to click on? And my parents were my favorite test subjects. They couldn't really see me or really hear what I had to say, but if I designed things in a certain way, they would behave in a way that I could completely predict every time. And it is that's how I communicate with them still. They can understand my visual deliverables to them. My mom she needs to drink some smoothies right now because she got into like a small accident, so she can't have solid food. So I do what I do best. I created these giant posters for her, 11 by 17, with all these different smoothie recipes that she can make, because I know that without it, she'll be kind of like, doesn't know where to go. I'm like, here, strawberry, banana, yogurt smoothie, Mom. And I have like 30 recipes for her to choose from. Yeah.
I'm glad that you're laughing here about it, because like my heart breaks for you.
Yeah.
Because a child having to navigate that is very tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
having to anticipate, well, basically managing another person's emotions is impossible, really.
It sucks.
Yeah. And it's not the job of any one person, and it's not the job of a child, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I can see your skills arriving, developing from that. But yeah, if no one's ever said that to you before, yeah, that's tough.
Oh man, if you and I were talking about this 5 years ago, I don't think I'd be able to speak about it this coherently, and I certainly wouldn't be laughing about it. I would just probably tell you some things and then go silent, stare off into space for a little bit. But I feel really grateful at the age that I'm at, that I've had the opportunity to process all this shit and see it for what it is and not let it consume me anymore. So this was my version of like, my family nonsense and how I got uprooted, it all has really been transformed into true empowerment for myself and anyone else who can see it. I just want to just give it. Like, if I'm able to never get lost again, I'm testing to see if I can do that with everyone else that I come across, and it seems to be working at the moment. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what that process was like for you?
Which process?
To, from, let's say, in the 5 years, how did you process what you went through?
I don't think it was really up to me. I think it was an adult life that didn't go the way I thought it would, and continuing to see if it would still work over and over again, and then it didn't work.
Are you talking about relationships?
Relationships, it was everything. I felt like I just messed up at everything. I felt like at that point, I had friendships had come and gone, relationships had come and gone. My career wasn't what I thought it would be. I have a completely different relationship with my career now, but at the time, I was like, what am I doing? Everyone else they have their startups. They're so much more competent than me. I was a self-taught designer, and I was kind of had a chip on my shoulder, and I was like, what have I made of myself? And I think it was during the depths of COVID, just full out lost my shit and watched it happen, and it was scary, and I can talk about it pretty easily, and I do know that other people have gone through it. We recognize each other right away, and I had the blessing of hanging on mentally, so the whatever old version of myself completely just died, and then I got to see what it takes for a person's psyche to rebuild a little by little. And that's when I got to study myself as a perfect test subject to see, well, if I think this, how does this impact this outcome? And it was during the quiet of COVID. And so I really got to track thought patterns for what they were, track my trauma for what it was, start to understand what wasn't my voice and what was my voice, and rewriting all of that. So when I started to really be able to separate, that's not my pain, that's someone else's, that's when the real transformation began. And that's why I'm not crying over stuff that's not mine anymore. I used to. There's a lot of just inheriting. Like I told you, if someone's walking around lost their whole life, they're going to absorb everyone else's stuff, not knowing who they are, trying to hang on to this person for dear life. And at that point, just not knowing where I begin, where I end. So that's the spiritual awakening in a nutshell, which is just complete, I don't want to say destruction, but like dissolution. Just everything just dissolved, and then I had the chance to have kind of like a bonus life right now.
A bonus life.
Yeah.
I know what it means to hear a different voice, and I know you don't mean psychotic, but for those who don't know, can you share what that means? Like the other voice in your head?
Oh, I felt like that was more like, it was inherited scripts from people, friends, siblings, parents who mean well, telling me who I am and telling me how I should behave, and not knowing myself well enough at all to completely take that as truth. That is what my biggest lesson was, which was, I think I'm doing the right thing, and I would often trust my intuition, but I do make decisions that are a little off-center. I like weird. I like novelty. Nothing too out there, but just like I'm a little like, I like the different flavored chips. And being surrounded by a community that didn't really get that, and more like, maybe you should stick with just the regular nacho cheese and not go for the pickle flavor. And I was like, oh, okay, then I think that's right then. Maybe I should. I was like, yeah, I do too many weird things. And then they just compound and they just kind of became part of me. And that's when when everything dissolved, and that's when I was able to hear, that's actually not my voice. That was from someone else who meant well. Sometimes they mean well, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're kind of like, stop acting in ways that we don't expect you to act. And I felt like that was, that's one of the best things that happened during my awakening, was being able to hear which voices were mine and which weren't. Not in a psychotic way. Thank goodness, that would be very distracting, I think. But that's how it felt with the community that was closest to my psyche at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. You know how you can walk into a room and feel the vibe, or can you?
Yeah.
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 And people often say that, but maybe not be able to describe exactly what it is that they're seeing or feeling. And sometimes, like, people, you get the same thing with interacting with people. And I believe it's when they are most, their behaviors and speech most align with who they actually are. Then you feel comfortable, right? Versus, like, if you see this, there's something about your brain, your body, your intuition that's like,
something's kind of off.
Something's not right. Why doesn't this match?
Yeah.
Right? And you may not be able to describe that. And let's say on the more nefarious side, someone's trying to deceive you, right? But on the less, this person just doesn't know really who they are, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.
One of my good friends, when I was going through a difficult time, he was sharing a difficult time that he had gone through, and he had these support animals, 2 dogs, right? Little dogs. And I was playing with them, and they would come over, and I really needed comfort at that time. I was going through PTSD, and then I'm petting the dog, and he at some point he says, "Yeah, those are my support dogs." And he's like, "That one." He's like, "You can tell that there's 1% that still doesn't trust." And I was like, "Holy crap!" He just framed exactly what I was getting from that dog the whole time.
Wow.
Right? And then he's like, "Okay, yeah, this dog had been abused and beaten and everything, so you can still see the 1%." He's very perceptive too, right? You're not a dog, right? And when I first met you, I was like, what is that? What is that there? There's this 1% that I don't fully understand. Not that I understand anybody, 100%. But there's something there. I was like, oh, okay. And now that I'm hearing your story, a lot of that makes sense. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. 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 I'm trying to put that all together.
There's another piece that I'll share with you that they'll give you a bigger picture. Is after my awakening, I spoke a lot less. I spoke very little. I used to be, even though people would hate on the stuff I liked, for whatever reason, I would still be very joyful about it and be like, if I keep telling you about it, you'll like it eventually, right? And that never happened. People always be like, no one likes what you like. Stop forcing it down our throats. And I always ended up feeling just really disappointed and alone. I was like, there's no one I could share this with. And for whatever reason, during my awakening, I was just like, I think I'm done trying to share all this good stuff with people. I'm just going to keep it to myself. It's actually, like, when I keep it to myself, it's actually way more fun. And I kept I just kept going with that until the moment would ask of me to share. So I stopped volunteering information. To me, it felt like, what's the point? And it actually served me much better to just like, I'm just going to kick back and watch what really happens, watch the vibe. And only when I really want to say something, or only when the invitation is given to me, is when I'll say something and I'll tell everyone what I think. So that unnerves people a little bit, because I think that might go against my normal programming, because I'm very like, let me share. I'm so excited to share with you. But ever since then, it's just like, I'm just just kind of, I won't engage unless I naturally feel like I want to, until I know it's, I'm not going to say necessarily safe, But a lot of interactions take a lot of energy out of me. So it's just been easier for me to just be quiet. Not because I'm trying to be mysterious or not because I'm trying to be withholding, but I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here until it makes sense for me to talk.
Is that because you are masking?
I don't think so much masking, but I feel like a lot of times people don't know what I'm talking about. And maybe whatever I'm talking about is because I'm off in my own little world. So I just kind of wait until people are on that track. And I was like, oh, okay, now we're here. Now I can talk about it. Yeah.
What are the weird things that you're introducing people to that they're like, oh, I don't want that?
Oh, not even, it's just like something as ordinary as like if we're talking about what to have for dinner, I'm already thinking about what we're going to order for our side dishes, for example. But they're like, whoa, we haven't even decided yet what we want for appetizers. And I was like, all right, I'll wait then. I'm being not literal, but this is like an example of what it feels like. I'm often feel like I'm already off onto a different tangent, expecting people to be able to contain the entire magnitude of the conversation. But oftentimes people aren't ready to talk about what I want to talk about because they need to do something else first. I don't know if that makes sense.
Interesting. I'm trying to make sense of it. Do you often get, I'll say, blamed, or people get upset with you for making a meaning of something that they don't actually say?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
okay.
so.
So you're not filling in gaps. You're more like jumping ahead too.
Yeah, like you know what would be interesting is if we connect this and that, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction could be, what are you even talking about? Why we're talking about this? Why are you talking about combining those two things? That's usually what I would get, and it's dismissed. So that's when I learned to I'm just gonna wait until the conversation naturally evolves to that space.
Interesting. And where you jump in is often ahead of.
I think it's parallel, a different dimension, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, different way of looking at it.
That's way different than being off topic, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm off topic. I think I offer a different perspective, and I think sometimes it's not really celebrated. Some people love it because they're like, oh my God, yes, I was thinking that too, and those are the people I look for now. But for the most part, I'm kind of protecting my energy from people who don't get it, so I don't waste my breath.
Yeah, you need to be celebrated in a space and among people who see the gift, right? And like, oh yeah. Give us more of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel so grateful that it seems to be way easier now. For some reason, I think once I've been able to really inhabit my body, and also there's just a lot of wonderful people who feel the same way, and I do know that I allow some of them to be their complete, authentic, weird selves with me because they know that I accept them for who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The pickle dip donut is my favorite donut.
Pickle dip donut?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a Canadian thing.
Oh, really?
So there's this donut place called O Donuts, and one of their newer flavors, it said pickle dip. They already had a savory donut, sour cream. So it's a savory raised donut, and they fill it with whipped cream cheese, and then it's dusted with like ranch and green onion.
Oh my God, that sounds so good.
But then they did that with the pickles. So they like chop pickles in the filling, and they put a pickle on top.
Where in Canada is this?
In Manitoba.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know.
But I was like, okay, they make it, so other people must like it too.
I'm interested. Thanks, Russell. Thanks for being on my side there.
Well, Stefanie, we ask each guest to bring an item with them.
Yeah.
What did you bring with you today? I
brought a little perpetual fidget spinner thingy. I want to be able to show you how it works.
Sure. Can you show this camera?
Yeah. I don't know if it'll work on my palm, but it kind of looks like this, and it's like a desk toy, and you kind of spin it.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick up that it's actually spinning, but I can see it. Yeah.
Right. So if you spin it on like a flat surface, it looks like there's a spiral on the top. It looks like you don't know where it begins, you don't know where it ends. It just looks like this endless spinning cool thing. It's a super cool illusion. I got it from the Museum of Illusions in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And it wasn't too long ago, but this represented what I was studying at the time and what I'm studying still now, which is about keeping up with the rate of creation, the rate of creation, the speed of thought. And in my own way, I'm doing that. And this, I felt like, was a perfect encapsulation of that. You don't know where it begins, you don't know where it ends, but you just know it just keeps going and going, going, going. That's where I got the shirt from, too, that same day.
Awesome.
Oh, it's like this wasn't really planned, but I love the shirt.
What's the museum called again?
The Museum of Illusions.
Of Illusions.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't even go to the museum. I just went to the museum store.
Okay. Thank you for bringing that in.
Yeah.
My wife, who we both believe is neurodivergent, like quite certain, she describes her gift as a slower processing speed, which in society is deemed a problem. But she says it's because she's taking in so many more data points and she can't help it.
I love that.
Right. And so she's like, then most people make a decision at 50 to 60%. And she's trying to get to 90, 95. Right. And so I have enough data points and then I fill that gap with an educated guess, maybe experience or whatever. Right. And she's needing to get to there. Right. She's also drawn a large gear, right? So one revolution it's taking a long time to go, right? But once you get this going, the output is just like, it's easy.
Yes.
And mine is like I'm a really small gear, and I'm effective in certain situations where you need that, but I can't produce out of my little spinning wheel what the large gear can.
I love that analogy. I resonate with that for sure. Yeah. And I don't want to move forward until I have all the pieces too. And I feel like I know when it's done, and that's when I can move forward, and that's when you get boom, the beautiful results.
And one thing that we discovered in our relationship is she asks a lot of clarifying questions so that she can get on board with something that I may have suggested or something, right? But sometimes they feel like she doesn't want to get on board.
Because she's asking for clarification.
Yes. and then I'm like, well, that's something I had to learn too, right? She's asking to get to 90%.
Yeah, that part can be annoying. For sure. I've been in that situation before. I'm just looking for clarification, but it could be interpreted as like, why should I even listen?
Yes. And sometimes that's how it feels.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm like, if I'm already like, why? But now I'm learning to appreciate like the superpower that it is, right? That I don't have. So, I want to get into the user experience, how you came about to doing that. We already sort of learned how you have this superpower, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sometimes, even the best of us can slip up. That's why the law offices of Scott Wormuth are here to pick you back up again.
And while they strive to get you the biggest compensation possible, oh my gosh.
Their main concern is your health and recovery. They work closely with doctors and insurance companies to make sure you get the proper medical treatment.
Initial consultations are free, so give them a call.
At the law offices of Scott Wormuth, we're with you all the way.
I'm Scott Wormuth. We've been fighting for your rights for more than 40 years.
All right, we're back with Stefanie. Stefanie, before the break, we were talking about sort of you call it as your, I forgot how you described it, awakening.
Yeah.
So I want to get into what you're doing now with user experience. But before that, when we come back from the break, we like to ask questions from the deck of cards, and they're just a fun way for the audience to get to know us a little bit better. So here we go. What is a mistake people often make about you?
I think it depends on the person. I feel like most people they can see me for who I am. I think I do receive from people, I've heard someone say before that my voice doesn't match my face. So they have said that, I look like just pretty basic, quiet, Asian woman, you know, and I'll say things are just a little odd and a little off the wall, and I'm a little maybe more dark and more cynical than I may appear, but I'm also still very joyful. But I think I definitely have a little bit of a demented edge that people
Demented edge.
Yeah, people don't expect. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as my husband is nodding.
I didn't expect that.
Great. Then therein lies the right answer to the question.
Sure. I think about me, I don't even know if this is true. This is just my assumption. I think people may assume that I'm not as intense as I could be, you know, like because I speak softly. Yeah. And I think that's the reason like I wanted to get tattoos when I was younger, because people were always saying to me like, oh, you're very sensitive.
Really?
And I thought that was like a put down actually, right? Or I didn't feel good about it. And I thought like, oh, if you see that I have a tattoo, then you think something else. You know, that initially what I think was I didn't have that thought consciously, but I think that's why I got it. But yeah, I mean, in a lot of things I can be very, right, intense. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I first met you, I mean, I met you as a grown person, not when you were in high school. I thought very gentle giant.
See?
What, does someone else say that?
No, I mean, but that's like, now I'm okay with that, right? But as a 16-year-old, which is when I got my first tattoo, like, I felt like, oh, is that not good? You know? Yeah,
interesting. Oh, when I say gentle giant, when there's the word giant, it's still like, well, you can still mess things up, but he's choosing to be gentle.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, what is a mistake people often make about you? Let us know in the comments. Okay. User experience or UI interface. Yeah. UI and UE. UX. So we learned sort of how you developed the skill, right? Yeah. But how did you even know that this is a job?
Oh, I know. I was so lucky when I got into it. When I I was in the golden years of the internet in college. We had Napster during college with, you know, T1 speed. So we got to download all the music we wanted. It was the super fun time. I'm learning about computer programming. I'm learning I hate it, but I learned about there's web design is a thing. And I was able to teach myself using Photoshop, and no one else was really doing it a whole lot. And I had the luxury of time, taught myself. I went on Craigslist. I saw like competitions for like an email template design, something like that. And I was like, sure, why not? And actually winning it, I was like, I felt legitimized. So I hustled. I did everything I could graphic design wise. So I learned about graphic design, and then I learned at school at UCLA. I did IT for the law school department. They needed a website, and I was like, I think I could do it for you guys. And that just became one of many pieces I was able to put in my portfolio. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, I think I'm a web designer. And this was even before UI UX was a thing. It wasn't until I worked at my first job out of college at Fox Broadcasting Company. I got very lucky with a connection there, and I got to work on Fox.com. Worked on the different show websites, and when I moved to San Francisco is when all of a sudden people kept talking about UI UX. I was like, what's this cool UI UX thing? And I was like, I think I'm doing that already. I'm like, awesome. So just totally positioned myself right at the forefront. And what was more fun is like being able to make web design decisions before industry standards were put into place. So now there's like standards. I don't think it's as fun now because you have to do things prepare in a very certain way. But at the time, it was cool. It was like being able to, like, first I have my website and we get to talk with everyone else. Like, what do we want this experience to be like? Where should the buttons go? Like, oh, let me sit down with it for a couple days and give you some ideas of how the website should look. And without the pressures of time that there are now. So it was a real sandbox time, the first half of my career. I loved it, absolutely loved it. So being blessed with that UI UX space when it was first established was great, and then it got super competitive, and it's still super competitive now. And the natural, I think one of the branches that came from UI UX, all of a sudden a bunch of us are calling ourselves product designers, which just means that you're creating digital experiences that include UI and UX, but you're also considering business restraints and performance metrics and things like that. And that's kind of like where I saw the origin point from. And now I think we're at a point now, ever since AI has become a thing, that companies are diverting their attention from their latest and greatest web apps and now into what's AI going to do for us. So a bunch of us designers are kind of floundering. We're not really at the prized forefront of innovation anymore. We're totally being pushed to the side, and a lot of us are trying to reinvent ourselves. So just so happens that I'm paying close attention during this pivoting time, like what I bring as a designer. So that's why I'm very interested in doing anything I can, be it making like game mechanics for an actual physical event, driving organizational alignment with the UI UX skills that I've learned. I'm learning that these user experience skills are not exclusive to just like apps or designs. They go into physical experiences, exhibit design, environmental design, and just behavioral design too.
I'm trying to think of an analogy here where to describe seeing the difference, seeing the skill that you have. I'm not able to describe one right now, but the experience, the whole experience is what you're designing and creating. And now I see that you're able to see it through the lens of the person experience it, because that's your practice. That's what you've been doing your whole life, right? Anticipating.
Right.
Yeah, that's quite powerful. The guest earlier this morning, he has that robotics security company, and he was talking about something. I was like, oh my gosh, you have to meet this person. And then he's like, oh yeah, hook me up, introduce me. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll tell you. And he's like, no, your reaction alone was enough, right? To sell him on it, because I want to communicate like just how different your skill and ability is in this. Like, it looks like you have a difficult time to receive compliment.
Oh, I think I'm okay with it.
Okay, good. I could never even put into words what that it's like, and then what I need to have not only gone to school with, but what could make me great at that, right? So if anybody can go to school to be a writer, right, or go to school to do something, okay, then you're going to be in this category of like your greatness, right? And if you pursue studying or that field more, maybe you excel a little bit more. But if you have this thing in your life that transformed you and made you this thing, and that aligns with what you actually do,
I hear what you're saying.
That is where you actually get some greatness, right? And there's some really fortunate people who can transform their life experiences into what they do. And I think there's real greatness in there. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Oh my God, it makes it totally makes sense, and it warms my heart that you're able to reflect back to me how I feel about it too. I feel extremely fortunate that they can complement each other like this, not even compliment, but really bring me to the next level, which I didn't anticipate at all. Yeah, you said it beautifully. Stefanie,
we're going to move on to the final segment of the show, where you get to tell us with harsh, strong words where we should eat in the San Gabriel Valley. So, Stefanie, this is the SGV3, and we get to learn your 3 favorite places to eat in the San Gabriel Valley. All right.
I thought about this. It was difficult. I have to go with some family favorites. My family loves specifically the yakitori branch of Shinsengumi, which is over on Main and Garfield. We used to go to it when it was on Garvey and Atlantic, on like the top level of that
upstairs, that pink building. It's all faded.
Yeah, with the exit game on the bottom.
Yes.
A weird plaza. But oh my God, when it opened up there, we took full advantage of that location. everything's always super good. Like just obsessed with every single one of the yakitori. The chicken cartilage, the sausage, chicken skin, all that's like it. And they have like a private room that you could book in there for only $20. So we always that was our spot. So when they shut down, we were so bummed. But seeing that they reopened on Garfield and Maine, it's still super, super good. It's like the quality hasn't changed at all. Still go there all the time. So when people come visit, like me and my husband will take our friends there, and it's still just, I think we were still talking about it the other day.
Is it the same? Like, do they do the drums when you come in?
Oh, they used to. I don't think they do it anymore.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
I think sometimes they do, but I feel like recently they haven't. I think they've been short-staffed.
Oh no.
Yeah, too busy to drum.
Do you do like gizzard and heart and liver?
My parents will do that, or the more adventurous eaters will. I don't. Occasionally I do the gizzard, but I'm all about the cartilage, the crunchy.
Well, did they list it as chicken butt? Have you seen that?
I've seen chicken. I thought chicken butt in my head too, but I think at that location that they omit the butt.
It's not literally the sphincter muscle. It's more like the fat. Yeah.
Oh, the cartilage. I think it's, what is it? I think they said it's a knee or maybe the joint. I don't know, but the butt I think is different. It has like a certain shape to it.
It's just like skin. I think it's just like skin.
I heard my aunt swears by eating chicken butt that it's supposed to just give a glow to your skin, and she is like, I think almost
Does she have
80.
glowing skin?
She looks great. She looks super, super young.
Well, there you go. See, the secret to great skin is eating chicken butt.
Thank you, Auntie Winnie.
Okay, and what's the second place?
Second place. What did it was another family spot. I forgot it. I remember. Okay, also on Main Street. Shinkai Sushi. That one is just a sushi spot next to Lunasia, and everything there is super good. The lunch special is crazy cheap for what you get. Top quality sushi. Their chirashi is amazing. Seared salmon sushi, salmon skin salad is just ridiculously big, and it's everything is good there. Really, really good. Lunch is amazing.
I've only been there once. I've only been there for lunch, and I got the premium chirashi bowl.
Wow.
And I can't believe I haven't gone back, but I remember that place.
Oh yeah, the combinations you can get for lunch are just so worth it.
Yes. And I don't remember it being packed either at lunch.
Mm-hmm. Secret. It's a secret. I thought about should I share it? I hear the omakase during lunch is like much more well priced than dinner time. So a lot of people go there for their sushi bar omakase.
I think the premium chirashi bowl when I went, and this was I think in 2014, was like $35.
Yeah. It's not that much more. I want to say 42. Something like that.
It had like uni, it had sweet shrimp, it had like all the premium stuff.
Yup, you get it all. Yup. I don't know if there's scallop, but definitely uni and sweet shrimp.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm hungry. Chicken butt and chirashi. Okay. And then what's the third place?
Third place was kind of a big all-encompassing perspective, which is growing up in San Gabriel Valley. We had the Hong Kong cafes. We had I love the food growing up, the Chinese banquets, all the Japanese food. But I think when this last wave of immigrants from China, they have completely transformed our landscape here in San Gabriel Valley. You can have 10 different kinds of hot pot, all this Szechuan stuff. I don't eat a lot of Szechuan food, but just seeing that it's there, it's the amount of, I'm just gonna say hot pot has exploded, and I love hot pot. So I'll just all-purpose hot pot.
All the hot pots in the San Gabriel Valley.
All the hot pots.
Do you have a favorite?
I haven't been to enough, I think, to say I even have a favorite. I'm boring. I like Boiling Point.
Okay.
Yeah, I like my parents like the fancy one called Mikiya in Temple City.
Oh yes,
I think
yes.
Yeah, it's all you can eat wagyu and premium seafood. That was epic, but that was actually super overwhelming for me. It was there's no space. It was this beautiful meat. I got my water boiling and all the seafood. It was it was cool, but I think I need a do-over. It was just straight up overwhelming.
Oh, do you go into a space and you cannot help yourself thinking about, I can improve this user experience? Is that why?
That happens a lot. That happens. I have to consciously switch it off sometimes. A lot of times I'm like, hey, these people, they had to work with restrictions. Like, I get it. There's probably a reason why. But there's other times I'm like, why did you put the trays over there? I'm gonna put my trash over. No. Yeah.
Do you ever just secretly do adjustments on your own, and so that they don't know?
I mean, I definitely fix shelves, and yeah, sometimes I will reposition things so that I'm like, I think this is more effective.
I mean,
Wow,
that's
you're good,
the sign of
Russell.
a person who lives it, right? Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm always assessing the way people walk, their gait. I can't help that. And then and then I'm always very interested in the story that made the person who they are.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, like that's interesting to me.
That's great.
Yeah. So awesome. Thank you for sharing those with us. So, Stefanie, if someone wants to get in touch with you or utilize your services, what's the best way to do that?
You can contact me through my website. It's my name, Stefoosh, STEFOOSH.com.
Awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation, Stefanie. Thank you for being here today.
I enjoyed myself as well. Thank you so much, Russell.
Yeah. Only one cuss word in there, too. So, maybe two. I mean, I forget. Well, there you go. Another episode in the books for you. I hope you enjoyed this and got something from it. I definitely really enjoy discovering the journey of a person, and you can really see how what they're doing today is born from something in the past. It doesn't always align, but when they do align, you get this incredible both passion, skill, and just this real excitement for what they're doing that you don't really get anywhere else. So I would definitely recommend checking out Stefanie if you need those kind of services. I'm going to introduce her to the guests you heard 2 weeks ago. So I look forward to connecting them. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. Don't forget to like and share. Please check out the full catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Scott Wormuth, directed by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers, and original music by Yone OG. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice matter. No, kind of matter.